You're tuned into the VSX Digital Sports Network. You're listening to the boss of the big board.
You are rocking with the hottest. Put your hands up for the boss. The Mixmaster is live. Get ready.
JB the Tech Act. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease.
That's right. Waking you up this Sunday. It is time to get the money. Happy St. Patrick's Day, all my Irish fellas out there. Shout out to my main man over at Island, Mavericks Way. I know you're rocking with me. Got the Dropkick Murphys. We're shipping up to Boston with my main man, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors. He's on the live with me this morning. Ready to rock and roll. Put that cash in your pocket. Good morning, Jeff.
Good morning, JB. Happy St. Patrick's Day.
That's what I'm talking about, guys. I got the green shirt on today. That's right. The Smokey the Bear shirt. Happy birthday to him, my main man, Ron. A third down, best bets in the building to you. Waking you up. Good morning, Ron. So glad to have you back.
Good morning, brother. How you doing?
Doing good, man. So glad to have you again at your birthday. Give you a happy birthday shout out. And also back with us today to talk some more college basketball. And we're going to talk a little bit of NFL free agency today. Tell you where some of the teams are going to be going. But he's here on the line with me, my main man, Troy West. From TroyWins.com. Yesterday we had a couple of tight losses in college basketball, but we were able to pull it back out again. I told you the dog was barking in NC State. ACC champions, that's right, the Wolf Pack. Putting cash in your pocket. Good morning, Troy.
Good morning, JB. Yes, the dogs were barking left and right yesterday.
Cash and tickets, that's what we're doing when we get back from this short commercial break. I know I started off a little bit late, but you know the alcohol was a bubble, and it is St. Patrick's Day, and we're bringing the luck of the Irish here to you. Again, Slanch, you guys know what time it is. Let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big board. JB the Tech Act. Giving you that grease. Skip your cable bill this month and join the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free, 15% off your first month. No credit check, no deposit, no installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
Yo. You're in the mix.
World's finest, man.
You're listening to the boss of the big board. JB the Tech Act. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease.
Back at you live, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, 107.1 FM, AM 1400, KSHP here in Las Vegas, VSX Digital Sports Network around the world, the number one sports betting show here in America, and I got him on the line with me, my main man, Ron, third down, best bets. Again, happy birthday to you, Troy West from TroyWins.com, and of course, Jeff Dawson up in Boston with the East Coast Sports Investors. So guys, let's jump into it this morning. It was eventful yesterday in college basketball. Gave out a ton of dogs that put cash in your pocket. Again, yesterday, shout out the NC State Wolfpack. Putting money in your pocket. They beat the Carolina Tar Heels last night. It was an ACC championship to remember, and now the ACC possibly has 3 teams going to the tournament. Again, today is Selection Sunday. Got a couple of matchups to wrap up the conference tournament schedule. And we'll get into it in a second, but Troy West, want to throw this one over at you. I talked about NC State streaking down the line towards the end of the season, and if they could win the ACC tournament, we know the ACC has been down this year. Carolina, streaky team on offense last night. It caught them up. Again, NC State putting the cash in your pocket from the dog position. +10 plus 300 on the money line, 84-76. They turned the spread around. Troy, do you like NC State as one of these sleeper teams circled on your book? They're one of my big dogs going into this tournament season. Go ahead.
Well, absolutely. And right now, JB, they're hot, right? And that's what this is all about, is who's hot in March, right? You can kind of throw out the regular season at this point in the year and just go who's hot and who's not. And NC State is riding hot going into this tournament. My only worry at this point would be that emotional letdown going into the tournament. We see that year after year where a sleeper team like NC State gets in and then has that emotional letdown. But if you're tapped to them, they put up a lot of points yesterday. This is a really good NC State. They're well coached. Going into the year, they had higher expectations, and now they're living up to them. So who knows? They could be a dark horse that sneaks into the Sweet 16.
I think these guys got a chance to make it past the first round. Again, shout out to my folks down in Raleigh, North Carolina. The NC State Wolfpack ACC champions in 2024. Let's talk about one of the early games. Again, shout out my main man, Legal Lee. He took a loss yesterday. A huge loss. Brown is on the line today. We talked about them possibly winning the Ivy League and going into the first round and getting sacrificed. But yesterday, taking down a huge dog position at plus 700, beating Princeton 90-81. Want to throw this one over to you again. Happy birthday, Ron, third down best bets. 25 years old again for the 25th year. I'm just joking with you, man. But you talk about this Ivy League here. And again, a happy birthday to you. Appreciate all your contributions for VSX over the past year. And I appreciate you taking some time off of your sabbatical. I know you've got the beers sitting there in the ice and they're yelling at me, but Brown has a possibility today to represent the Ivy League. Let's talk about that win yesterday. Over was the total. The total was 133. Clearly this one went over 90-81. So when you talk about Ivy League teams here, we may have an Ivy League team who makes it to the tournament with a losing record. Their number one seed is out, and I don't think the Ivy League is ever going to get an at-large bid. Your thoughts? Go ahead.
Well, thank you for the birthday shout-out. I did turn 21 today, so I can drink finally legally. I like Yale today. I think Brown has been playing way above their heads. They've been playing great, but I just see a team that I think is just going to run out of gas today. And Yale seems to be really a solid team. And I was really shocked how they handled Princeton yesterday, Brown. They did play a great game, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it again today. And I'm going with Yale today.
He likes Yale. Yale yesterday taking down the win over Cornell. Jeff Dawson chomping at the bit, ready to get on here. Thank you so much for coming back. I hope the issues you had last week were prayed away. And we want to talk about this one yesterday. I brought this one up to everyone, and I said, look, it's going to be a hootenanny. Go with the dog. I was able to put more cash in your pocket. The Temple Owls beating the shadow of the former Final Four team, FAU. They beat them, win by one, lose by none. That's where you get the money. I told you the dog was barking. This one, 74-73, the American Athletic Conference. So when you look at where Temple is now, do you think they're going to be one of these teams that you have to look at and say, look, if we're coming in today and we're looking at Temple and UAB, if Temple is able to pull off the upset today at UAB, do you think that they're another one of these long dogs that can make some noise in the first round? You know they're going to be a lower seed with a record of 16-19, maybe a play-in team, but this might be one of those teams in the first round that can move up and play above their actual win total. Jeff Dawson, go ahead.
Thank you for the positive prayer. Yes, everything is going great back home in the East here. Temple was the talk of social media. They were on high alert for a couple games that there was extra activity. They're going from, let's say, 2-point dogs to 8-point dogs. And this UAB team, they lost 100-72 the last time. They had lost to Tulsa before that. They were just some shady stuff going on. And then the whistle blew. And since the whistle blew, they have now won 5 in a row. And they're one step away from going dancing at 16-19. I know Don Chaney, high above courtside, is smiling down as well. I think, as you were talking about Brown, this is house money. no one expected these teams to get there. I like UAB in this spot. I think they're gonna win, but the number here, I think if I'm looking at it correctly right now,
minus 7.5. Let's talk about it. Rotation number 647, the Temple Owls. Let's go ahead and jump into this dog market. I'm going ahead and going with Temple today in the point simply because, again, you got a UAB team that's been a little bit shaky. They are a strong team. I saw them play live last year in the NIT, but when you look at what they should have done yesterday, we didn't really see them get out and cover the spread. But you look at Temple, plus 7.5, UAB, rotation number 648, minus 7.5, total of 138.5. I kind of like this one to go over as well. Jeff Dawson, keep elaborating. Go ahead.
Yeah, we have this one at 75-70 Temple, so that would be, 75-70 UAB, so that would be UAB straight up. That would be Temple with the cover and under over currently, as you said, that would put it right at an overplay. So currently, as we have it rated, take Temple and the points, UAB in a parlay spot with the money line, and we have it at the over.
There you go. I like that, Grease. Going back over to you, Troy West. I hate to mention it, but we got to talk about it yesterday. I told you guys to put him in a dog position, and that would have been able to get you paid yesterday. We were able to do that. We switched that line up. You know how I like to do it. But Purdue losing by 1 to Wisconsin. This was a shocker. Wisconsin, again, they gave it their best shot, and they were able to put themselves in the Big Ten championship game today by beating Purdue. I think that score was like 75-76, something a little bit odd. But when you look at Purdue, remember I talked about that second half adjustments on defense, and Purdue has trouble doing that. Yeah, 75-76, Wisconsin, the 5th seed in the Big Ten Conference, able to take down the number 1 seed in Purdue, who now has 4 losses. So I think there's a possibility they could end up as maybe a number 2 seed today in the tournament. But again, Wisconsin coming in, beating Purdue. Do you still think Purdue is poised to get to the Final Four and make some noise? We've seen them have issues in the second half with defense. This game was wire to wire, tied in the first and the second halves, and then 1 point better for Wisconsin. Give credit where credit is due. That dog was barking. But I want to talk about Purdue. Their season is over until the tournament time starts. Do you still think they're going to be a number 1 seed? Go ahead, Troy.
Yeah, there's zero doubt that they'll be a number 1 seed. You got to remember the teams behind them. North Carolina also lost. Houston also lost. Not only did Houston lose, they lost 20. So Purdue's without a doubt a number 1 seed. There's zero doubt in my mind there. And I don't hold any value on that game yesterday. That was the 3rd time that they played Wisconsin in a 2-week span. It's hard to beat a team 3 times. They were on a neutral floor. Really had nothing to play for. They knew they had the number 1 seed locked up. Wisconsin had everything to play for. They needed to win that game to potentially get into the tournament. Like I said, JB, Zach Edey in the tournament's going to be a different force for a lot of these teams that haven't seen a 7'4" center. They're going to have a tough time. Purdue's cleaned up on the Big Ten. They're going to clean up on the rest of the tournament.
Troy is still riding hard with the Purdue Boilermakers. Again, shout out my soon-to-be new alma mater. Got him here in studio here with us as well. Want to give him a shout out. My main man, Dr. David Schoonover. That's right, the mind coordinator. Going to be coming up at 9 o'clock this morning when I'm off the air. You're going to want to stay tuned for that, giving you some insights into the coaching world and also training you guys up on knowing about that mental health. But Troy, I want to keep you on the line here, and all 3 of us, we're going to be talking about it. Rotation number 649. Let's talk about those Wisconsin Badgers today. Okay, 21-12, playing an Illinois team at 25-8. Rotation number 650. Illinois minus 3.5 today on the line. So when I looked at Illinois 3.5, again, I look at it kind of like 5. Might want to buy Illinois down today, but as I told you, at this point in the season, there are no dogs, there are no favorites, just basketball teams. I like Wisconsin again today to try to keep it close, but however, I'm going to buy them up around a +8. Money line for Wisconsin today in the dog position. Not going to pay you that much. Plus 148. The total is 148.5. Troy West, go ahead.
JB, I like Illinois here. I just think they're led by Shannon Jr., who put up 40 last night. This guy's got the hot hand in this tournament. I was surprised at the fight Nebraska put up. Nebraska was winning that game, and Illinois caught fire in the second half. I like Illinois. You got to remember, Wisconsin played overtime yesterday. They're going to have tired legs. That was an emotional win. Give me Illinois in a big way. I think they win this game 85-72. Give me Illinois.
There you go. Illinois, throwing this one over to you. Ron, third down, best bets. I want to talk to you about the Big Ten here, because now with Purdue losing and not being ready to get themselves into this Big Ten championship game, they're going to have rest. And they're going to have some chance to regroup, get Edie and the rest of the crew healthy. But you're talking about a team now, the Big Ten, going to be able to bring another team to the tournament by way of winning this conference tournament. Who do you like today? Rotation number 649. Again, Wisconsin plus 3.5 in the dog position, plus 148 money line. Total is 148.5. Now, you got an interesting first half total here of 72. So when you go in again, like I said before, with Illinois, rotation number 650, they've been ranked a lot during the season. They played a tough schedule. They've proven that they can compete in the Big Ten by making it to this championship game. Are you going to concur with Troy, or do you like the dog spot today? Go ahead.
I like Wisconsin today. Illinois is not a disciplined team. They're very up and down. Like yesterday, Nebraska was hammering them by 11 at halftime. They were up by 15 at one point in the first half. But Illinois lives and dies by the 3 when they get behind, and I just don't see them being able to do that against Wisconsin today. Wisconsin is really hot. They're playing good, disciplined basketball, and I always go with that team.
Right, he likes the Wisconsin Badgers. Guys, when we take this short commercial break and come back, we're going to jump over to today's basketball action. But before we do that, I want to talk a little bit of NFL free agency, because there's been a lot of wild moves in the NFL. They said, look, we want to be at the front of the sports news again, so we're going to touch on it when we get back. Going around the big board here. Ron, third down, best bets. Again, happy birthday to you. Give a couple of quick shout-outs. Then we'll go over to Troy West and Jeff Dawson. Go ahead.
First one, Ronnie B, killing it over at the Rampart yesterday like usual. And got to mention Hard Rock Hamilton with NC State Wolfpack.
That's right. Hard Rock Hamilton, Linwood Hard Rock Hamilton, alumni of the NC State Wolfpack, played for Chucky Amato back in the day. Defensive line, great, and he's still got that documentary, people. You're going to want to go to my website, VegasScoreboardExpress.com, click his link, support his mission to put that out, especially in the NIL era. You're not going to want to be behind the 8 ball when we do put that out. It's going to teach you guys about what's going on in the marketplace and how these players are putting themselves at risk, putting this image and property out there, and you never know. You already saw Colorado get robbed last year in the locker room. Just warning you. Again, Troy West from TroyWins.com. Go ahead and give us your best plays today. And you hear the grease dropping. Go ahead.
Yeah, JB, I'm actually rocking and rolling. I like UAB as my favorite play of the day. This team is hot. I went against them yesterday. I took South Florida, who's a good, crappy basketball team. UAB could not miss. These guys get up and down the floor. They're going to be too good for Temple today. They're determined to make that tournament. I like UAB to get it done.
Like in UAB, tell them where they can get your picks today. You got twprops.com, TroyWins.com. Go ahead.
Yep, we're doing prize picks, prop bets, you name it, we got it. It's TroyWins.com. I'm telling you, JB, get in for the tournament. We are excited. It's TroyWins.com. Happy to give you a free trial. And if you're not happy with our service, we're always a money-back guarantee.
Well, they should be happy with your service. You come on to VSX every single week, dropping grease and putting cash in people's pockets and rounding it out. Jeff Dawson, go ahead with your shout-outs, and we'll take a short commercial break. Go ahead, my friend.
Shout out to Anthony Pepe, the Diehards, and of course Food Truck Festivals, as we'll be in Tennessee, Chattanooga next Saturday for a festival there. So looking forward to it, JB.
There you go. Want to give a shout out to my main man, Scotty, beam him up Webb. He is out at an Orioles game today. So thank you so much for your contributions to the show. We know you'll be back next week. Tell us all about that baseball and where we can get the money. So when we get back, you guys keep it locked here, 107.1 FM, AM 1400 here in Las Vegas, around the world, jbtheticket.com, kshp.com, and VSX Digital Sports Network for all your advertising needs. Straight grease when we get back. NFL people, let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big board. Skip your cable bill this month and join the action with JB and Fubo TV. Get 7 days free, 15% off your first month. No credit check, no deposit, no installation hassle. Go to FuboTV.com/JB. Sign up, download the app, and start watching games.
Enjoy being a subscriber after the first month. Easy cancellation anytime. Regional restrictions apply. Sign up at VegasScoreboardExpress.com.
In times of war and peace, the men and women of our military dedicate themselves to serving our country. We salute those who have given their lives for our country. Their sacrifice will never be forgotten.
This salute is courtesy of Mac and Grill Cheese Factory, serving our area with quality and pride. For a fantastic meal, stop by 1331 West Warm Springs Road in Henderson or call them at 725-214-4140. That's 725-214-4140. Mac and Grill Cheese Factory, on the air reminding everyone that we live in the land of the free thanks to our brave.
The National Atomic Testing Museum is a national science, history, and educational institution that tells the story of America's nuclear weapons testing program at the Nevada test site. Located at 755 East Flamingo Road, just east of Paradise, the museum offers immersive, interactive experts for guests of all ages. The museum is Smithsonian certified and open 7 days a week. For more information, visit nationalatomictestingmuseum.org. That's nationalatomictestingmuseum.org.
Boss of the big ball. JB the Ticket. Giving you that grease. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Always spitting that explosive fire.
Back at you live, JB the Ticket, Vegas Scoreboard Express, waking you up every Saturday and Sunday morning here on KSHP 107.1 FM and AM 1400. I got him on the line with me. My main guys, Ron Third Down, Best Bets, Troy West, Jeff Dawson. And we are breaking it down here for you, switching over back to the gridiron, the NFL, here on VSX. Again, you can watch these games on Fubo TV. Go to FuboTV.com/JB, saving you 15% off, giving you 7 days free on that first month. So let's talk about it here. There's been a couple of moves around the NFL that a lot of people have been going, oh my goodness, are we seeing a changing of the guard here? So let's talk about it first. You know, Russell Wilson going over to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Let's talk about that a little bit, because he's got a little brother that just got signed yesterday as well, and Justin Fields. Shout out my main man Mark Hayes here, KSHP. He told me within 48 hours Justin Fields would be moved. Now we are possibly going to see a full quarterback room in Pittsburgh, okay? They've got two quarterbacks, basically the older version and the younger version. They shipped Kenny Pickett up out of there. Throwing this one over to you, Troy West. When we talk about the NFL, it's early, okay? The free agency is making some room for the draft. This is a very deep draft at every single position, especially the quarterback position. Again, I think this will be the draft where we see the guys fill out the rest of the star quality at quarterback over the next 4 to 5 seasons as some of these younger busts, if you will, get moved out of the way. But Troy West, throwing this one over to you. When you take a look at the NFL free agency market as it stands and you look at the quarterback situation in Pittsburgh, do you think it was good for them to make a move to get Russell Wilson and to get Justin Fields, essentially the old and the new version? And maybe do you think you would see Justin Fields come on later in the season if Russell Wilson shows that he's long in the tooth? Go ahead.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, JB. I think that's why the move was made. I personally was shocked Fields went just for a 6th-round pick. I think this guy is being completely undervalued, wasn't used properly in Chicago, didn't have the weapons around him in Chicago. I'm not sure they have the weapons in Pittsburgh either. That's my biggest concern. I think Russell Wilson will struggle, and I think ultimately Justin Fields will struggle. I mean, you look at the quarterback carousel they had last year with Trubisky and Pickett and Rudolph. That's just not a very good offensive team. But I like the move, and I do think Justin Fields will push Russell Wilson. I think at some point in the season we will see him play.
I'm throwing this one over to you, Jeff Dawson. Quarterbacks. Teams are making moves. Now you've got Chicago with the number 1 pick looking to pick up Caleb Williams possibly to try to fix their woes. But you guys have got some woes up in New England. Justin Fields was sitting right there. You got rid of Mac Jones. I don't know if you're going to go with Bailey Zapp. We call him Zep Tepe, a.k.a. played for the first time. Why didn't you guys try to make a move up in Boston land? I mean, right there, Justin Fields, everybody knew that he was available. And the reason I ask you this is because you picked up Cam Newton a couple seasons ago. I mean, come on.
Giving you that grease.
So you got to give something up to get something, and you had an open roster spot. How do you let Pittsburgh fill up the quarterback room, and you guys are still sitting there empty? Go ahead.
My 2 cents on this, JB, is, and this was a lot of teams' worries as well, is you know how the GMs are, you know how the owners are. They want it to be their guy. And now the fact that Bill is gone, Tom has left the building a few years ago, obviously a whole new regime. The Krafts trying to flex their muscles. Even though you're getting him on still a rookie deal this year, you could obviously franchise him the next year. But what happens if he is good? Now what do you do? Do we pay him or we don't pay him? So instead of getting caught up in that, what do? They bring Jacoby Brissett in for $8 million. Why? He played for the Patriots a handful of years ago. He's great in the locker room. And I'm just telling you this. I'm worried because that number 3 spot was supposed to be for Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is going to go number 2 to Washington. And what I'm hearing locally with the move that the Vikings already made this week is Minnesota's moving in for the pounce to try to get the number 3 spot to grab Drake May. So we're going to move back. So it's still a bleep show here in New England, JB.
Man, you guys are just going down the toilet slowly and fastly. Let's move into another NFL free agency move. You talked about the Minnesota Vikings. Throwing this one over to you, Ron, third down best bets. You got Kirk Cousins. He's out of there. He's going down to Atlanta. So who are the Vikings going to put under center? Okay, you've got teams right now that are maybe looking at this deep quarterback pool coming out of college. Again, Bo Nix, you got Jalen Daniels. I think there's going to be a lot of draft night trades to maybe get into the second round, late first round, especially with the Vikings. Okay, they've got Justin Jefferson, dynamic wide receiver, all pro, but now he doesn't have anyone to throw to him. Do you think the Vikings are going to try to make a move in free agency and maybe pick up one of these guys? You know, unfortunately, maybe Zach Wilson's floating around out there. I mean, we've already seen guys like Sam Darnold get signed. We've already seen a couple of guys get moved around. You see Joe Flacco, I think he's picking up another check from the Colts. So, again, quarterback is a need here, and with the Colts having that open roster position at QB1, how do you see them going? Go ahead, Ron.
Well, they already grabbed Sam Darnold, but I don't think they intend him to be the starter. I think the joker of the draft is going to be J.J. McCarthy, where he's going to land. I think he could be, the target. I'm hearing the Raiders want to move up to get him. He's going to be the guy. I mean, we already know the top 3 are going to go right away, so if they can get to 3, they'll take May. But if they can't, I look for J.J. McCarthy. Right.
You think J.J. McCarthy, he's got a championship pedigree, is going to be able to come in and start with a dynamic receiver like Jefferson. Again, he started off his career with a veteran quarterback. How do you think that would fare for him to go with a rookie under center? We know he's won a national championship, 23 years old, but you also have to recognize that taking over a locker room that was almost there last year, they're fighting for their playoff position, trying to get over that hump. Do you really think that there's a chance that the Vikings would go with the rookie this season and essentially end up having to ship out Justin Jefferson in about a season or two? Go ahead. Ron, third down. Yes.
Yeah, they definitely can. I don't know if it'd be the greatest fit. I know they're in a tough division now. I mean, Green Bay got a lot better already this offseason. Detroit's made some sneaky moves into the radar. And nobody's talking about Chicago. Chicago's drastically improved too. So right now I'm looking at the Vikings as the 4th team in that division.
He's looking at the Vikings as the 4th team. Again, Troy West talking about the player positions, the picks. All right, we go with the Bears at number 1. You got the Washington Commanders at number 2. I think this could be a landing spot for Bo Nix. They got rid of the Sam Howell kid, okay, the pick monster. Bo Nix hasn't really been talked about a lot as a top round pick, but they could surprise a few people here because if Washington is going to compete in the NFL period, they need to pick up a quarterback. And I feel that from a season standpoint, from a poise standpoint, okay, what Bo Nix did to Colorado with that hype train coming into the city, completely obliterating these guys, running up the score, but playing an efficient football game. Do you think that maybe Washington could shock the world and take Bo Nix from Oregon at number 2, or are they still going to try to get a Jalen Daniels, maybe a Caleb Williams, make some moves? Essentially, I'm asking you, are they going to pick a player who probably doesn't want to go to their play? Go ahead. Troy West.
He's good this year. Dan Quinn's done an outstanding job in free agency. They've picked up some great players. I think the Commanders are going to come in and compete. And yes, I think they're going to go with Daniels. I don't think Bo Nix will be a first-round pick. He really struggled at the combine. He's more of a gap quarterback, likes to run. He's just not your prototype in the pocket passer that these NFL teams are looking for. So I do not think Bo Nix will be a first-round pick. But I think the Commanders is a sexy spot to play right now. Dan Quinn, they've got good coaches around him now. And like I said, they've piled up in free agency. The Commanders could be sneaky good next year.
Could be sneaky good. Let's move down to unlucky number 13 on this lucky St. Patrick's Day weekend. And again, the birthday of co-host and VSX contributor Ron Third Down Best Bets. This one's going back to you and then Jeff Dawson here. I'm talking about the Raiders at number 13, all right? We have, again, found ourselves in the first round right outside of the top 10. There's some needs on offense. We just got rid of our running back, but I think the offense is going to go more towards the signs of passing the ball. We've got Aiden O'Connell. They just picked up Gardner Minshew, trying to bring some Minshew mania out here. But when you talk about the rest of the wide receiver core, we've drafted terribly over the last 4 or 5 seasons at wide receiver. We've got Devontae Adams out there by himself. We need to keep developing Mike Myers, the Notre Dame first-round pick or first-level pick that we picked up last year. But many of the draft picks over the last 4 or 5 seasons since the Raiders have been here in Las Vegas have been getting sent on their way, and that's not going to help the team win. Coaching, round robin, all kinds of stuff. Shout out to my main man, Coach Antonio Pierce. He's doing what we said he should have done. He bringing in great coordinators, putting the right type of players in personnel, but there's some gaping holes on that offense, and unless the Raiders can begin to average 25 points or more a game, I'm giving you guys an attainable goal here, 25 or more points a game, they're not going to sniff the playoffs. So at number 13, would it be better to maybe trade this pick in the first round for some more late round picks and then try it again? We got a different GM here in Telesco. He knows how to draft. He's the guy that picked up Justin Herbert for the Chargers when I told folks that that's who they should take many seasons ago on this show. Ron, the Raiders at 13, should they trade that pick? I say yes.
Yes, absolutely. If they could trade down, yes. We need help on the offensive line. Our receiver core is fine. We got Devontae, we got Jacoby Myers, Trey Tucker developed last year. They don't need a receiver right now in the first round. We need offensive line or a running back, and there is no real running back that they should take at 13. So I think trading down would be a good move. We can pick up some extra picks, maybe another second-round pick.
That sounds like a plan. I'm telling you, I agree with you totally. Throwing this one over to you, Jeff Dawson. Same question. Raiders at number 13. They're making moves in free agency. Is that 13 pick worth 3 or more draft picks in later rounds, including the later picks that the Raiders already have coming up? Go ahead.
Yeah, you talked about the wide receiving core that you do have, which I do like. I just want to make sure Devontae Adams is all in. Antonio Pierce coming in again as your now head coach, not interim coach. Josh Jacobs heading to Green Bay. So as what was alluded to, you have a lot of holes, just like my Patriots down the road here. So there's going to be a quarterback frenzy in the first 5 to 6 picks. Now you can sit back and watch this and then see Who wants a Bo Nix? Who wants let's say a Penix Jr.? Who maybe wants to jump into a Spencer Rattler and stuff? So attain those assets, move down a handful of picks, read the draft room, and that's what I think the Raiders going to do. And I think the Patriots have to do the same thing as well.
Right. There's been talk about maybe taking Talise Fuaga out of Oregon State in that 13 spot. But how about this? If by any chance, I know Ron Third Down Best Bets, you said that they don't need help at the wide receiver core, but I'm looking at some NFL mock draft projections now on NFL.com. Again, thank you so much. Shout out to my homegirl, Zakia, over at the NFL Alumni here in Las Vegas. Shout out the NFL Alumni Association here in Las Vegas. Thank you for your support. I'm looking at this draft board here, and I see Malik Neighbors out of LSU going a number 4 possibly as the best available. All right. We look at the number 1 spot. You got Marvin Harrison Jr. here, and you talk about teams looking at quarterback in those first couple of picks. If for whatever reason, Marvin Harrison Jr. slips and falls due to GMs making mistakes. Again, he's a top talent in this draft. I don't think he goes past number 5. But if he was to fall around that 7, 8, 10 mark, just because GMs are picking off of need rather than picking off of next generational talent, if the Raiders had an opportunity to get Marvin Harrison Jr. opposite Devontae Adams and put those other 2 guys in the slot, Ron Third Down Best Bets, do you think that would be the move to make if they needed to make it? Go ahead.
Yeah, if you could get him, I definitely would take him, but I don't think it's going to be possible. I think he's going to go number 4 in Arizona.
Arizona doesn't have anyone to throw to him. Let's hope not and pray for his career that doesn't happen.
Kyler Murray.
No. When we get back from this short commercial break, again, I got my 3 guys on the line. Ron Third Down Best Bets, Troy West, and Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors. Again, shout out all you listeners here in Las Vegas, spending your morning with me each and every Saturday and Sunday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. on KSHP 107.1 FM and AM 1400. And you can listen to me during the week, iHeartRadio, Spotify, TuneIn, you name it, we are there. So when I take this break and I come back, we're jumping back into the college basketball. Last 15 minutes of the show, we're going to break down the picks to put the cash in your pocket, and then get ready, because we're going to open up your mind and have you expand and think a little bit with my main man, the mind coordinator, Dr. David Scuno. So you guys keep it locked here with me, JB the Ticket. Let's get the money.
You're listening to the boss of the big board, JB the Ticket. It's time to wake up and win the weekend. You're listening to the boss of the big board, JB the Ticket, giving you that grease. Join me every Saturday and Sunday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific Time for the live action on Vegas Scoreboard Express on KSHP 107.1 FM and AM 1400. Dive into the game day with my in-depth analysis, expert predictions, and winning plays from the sharpest minds in sports betting. It's more than just placing bets. It's about securing wins. Head over to jbtheticket.com and be sure to tune in to KSHP this weekend from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific Time to ride the winning wave with VSX. Tune in and get your money back from the sports book. All money, all sports, no bull.
Miss the live show? Subscribe to Vegas Scoreboard Express on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, TuneIn, and wherever you enjoy your favorite podcast and radio listening.
You are rocking with the hottest. Put your hands up for the boss. The Mix Master is live. Get ready.
You're listening to the boss of the big board, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express, giving you that grease.
Happy St. Patrick's Day. Waking you guys up early in the morning here in Las Vegas. Again, be safe on the highway today. Don't drink too much. Don't put yourself in a position where you're going to lose your job and then we don't get to see you no more. We're back here, VSX Live on KSHP 107.1 FM and AM 1400. My main man, Jeff Dawson from the East Coast Sports Investors up in Boston. Troy West from TroyWins.com, and happy birthday to you. That's why I'm playing it. This is your birthday song, Ron. The Dropkick Murphy shipping you up to Boston. Happy birthday, VSX co-host and contributor, guys. So let's jump back into this college basketball to give these folks the grease and get them on their way over to the book. Again, shout out my main man and co-host contributor. Hopefully he gets back from sabbatical soon, Ronnie B. of Las Vegas. So again, we talk about college basketball, had that free agency breakdown. The draft is coming up. You can watch it live on Fubo TV. We're also going to be having some NFL draft exclusives that we won't be doing live on the air, but you got to go to jbtheticket.com to hear them. So let's talk about this NCAA matchups today. Waking you back up. Rotation number 641. The Brown Bears going up against those Yale Long Dogs. Rotation number 642. Yale at 21-9 would be a better representative for the Ivy League if they can win the Ivy League Conference tournament today. But Brown at 13-17 yesterday played their little hearts out and took down a plus 700. They got a tall order today playing against Yale. You don't got to worry about the intellectual capabilities of the guys today. You just got to worry if they can hit shots. Troy West throwing this one at you. 2 minutes. Go ahead.
I like Yale in this game. I think Brown, no pun intended, blew their load yesterday, JB. They had to give everything they had to take care of Princeton. I don't think they've got the energy to do this again. Yale's a good basketball team. They move the ball around well. Brown, again, a heck of a game. But can they do it again? I think they're emotionally drained. I'll take Yale minus the points today.
He likes Yale minus the points. Moving around to another game today in another conference tournament. Let's talk about it. Rotation number 643, the Duquesne Dukes, 23-11. Again, a lot of teams right now, I told you, got those 20 wins. No real dogs today. And they are taking on the Virginia Commonwealth Rams. Rotation number 644, Virginia Commonwealth minus 2.5. These guys are on a neutral court. Winner take all. I like the Dukes today. I'm taking the Dukes because I like the short dog in these games. However, you look at that total of 127.5. It's tempting to take it over. Jeff Dawson, I'll throw that one at you. Go ahead.
Yeah, that's, again, one of those coin tosses. You get to the final day before, Selection Sunday in about 6 hours, JB. And, it's last man standing, winning in. And so you talked about a Brown team and, you talk about some of these other teams that aren't supposed to be here. They are one win away like the NC States yesterday. On that game right here, we're looking at we have a 66-65 right now. VCU eking one out. So to me, if you're playing the spread, it is the dog with Duquesne. If you're playing the money line, it's VCU a short favorite. And again, our numbers have this landed on 131, JB.
That sounds like a slight over. Let's move down to the SEC. Rotation number 645, the Florida Gators. These guys are back in possible contention. And just on a side note, Duquesne and Virginia Commonwealth, that's the Atlantic 10 Conference Championship in Brooklyn, New York at the Barclays Center. But we're going back down to the Bridgestone Arena in Nashville, Tennessee. No Tennessee Volunteers today. But Auburn, we told you yesterday they would put cash in your pocket and beat Mississippi State. Rotation number 646, minus 5.5 today. Florida, a strong dog, though, at plus 190 on the money line. Total in this one is 158. Ron, third down best bet. You watch a lot of SEC basketball here. Do you like the coaching aspect of this? You got Bruce Pearl waiting in the wings to get back to the NCAA tournament to do some damage. There's been some talk that if he doesn't get deep in the tournament this year, he could get shipped out of there. So when you go from that perspective, a coach playing for his job, even though he had a good season, do you think Florida's run stops today? Go ahead.
I do. I think Florida has been depending on the threes late in the game, the last two games. I mean, they've blown up in the second half and just got hot and stole these last two games they won. Auburn they started the year, they were very tough. They had a little dull spot, and they seem to be clicking now again. And my man Broom with Auburn is just really dominant when he gets on. He's playing really well right now. I like Auburn today.
He likes Auburn today. I'm going to throw this one over to you, Troy West. I know we talk a lot about the SEC. My Kentucky Wildcats, I thought they would be in this game. Mississippi State took them out. Auburn then took them out. Can the Cats maintain their dominance here? When you go in to this neutral site game, you talk about an Auburn team that's 15-1 at home. They're in the home position today at minus 5.5. Florida only 3-7 on the road. And that's something I kind of don't like. But when we talk about tournament life, 59% of the money is on Florida to cover at 5.5. But that money line of plus 190. Can Florida pull this off today and get to the tournament? Go ahead.
No, I think that this is a tough basketball game for Florida. Auburn is clicking on all cylinders right now. Bruce Pearl's got this team already in tournament mode without a doubt, JB. So I'm with Ron. I think Florida runs out of steam, way too dependent on that three ball. Auburn not very good defensively, though. This will be a high-scoring game. In the end, I think it's going to be right around that number. I think Auburn wins this game 76-70. I'll take Auburn.
He likes Auburn here on the cash side. Let's move back into it. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Only 4 games, 4 or 5. Let me see. There's 5 games on the line today. All conference championships. And then you got Selection Sunday right around 6 to 9 p.m. Pacific time. So let's go back into it. Rotation number 647, the Temple Owls, plus 7.5 today. This would be a play-in team if they got selected. I mean, no disrespect to those Temple players out there, but I'm telling you, your record stinks, but you are winning games and you're in a dog position today. Can they shock the world? UAB minus 7.5. Rotation numbers 648. You talk about a team right now at 22-11. Last year, they were an NIT team. They want to advance to the field of 64, 75, or 125. Throwing this one over to you, Jeff Dawson, UAB. We talked about them in the beginning of the show. Can they get to the big dance, or are they going to be going NIT fishing? Go ahead.
Yeah, March 7th, Thursday night, Temple loses to them 100-72. And then that's when the big red flag started. Since then, Temple has gone on a 5-game winning streak. They've won 4 in a row in the tournament to try to do what NC State did. Our numbers have 75-70. UAB pulling this one off. I don't know what to expect from Temple. We thought NC State would crash and burn last night to North Carolina. They found a way to dig deep. I mean, these kids aren't used to playing 3 games in a row, never mind 5. So big task, but it's do or die for Temple. Be interesting to see. If you like Temple today, I would suggest leaning on them, grabbing about 3.5, 4 points in the first half. See what you got, evaluate for the second half. But we have a 75-70 UAB, JB.
That's a low price.
He's telling you that UAB may not cover that spread. Moving back to the Big Ten again, Troy West from TroyWins.com. Thank you so much for your contributions yesterday. Got to make sure we keep you here live today. Rotation number 649, the Wisconsin Badgers. Again, another dog that has been pushing and winning games. They've got 21 wins right now, and they're playing an Illinois team that wants to show the world that their brand of basketball, which is a little bit old school style. And old school, I mean, they do a little bit more of the dribble drive. They do a little bit of box out. But again, as you said before, Ron, late in the game, they start relying on those threes. They get away from the good basketball. 15-3 at home in the home position. Wisconsin 3-9 on the road in the road position. This is a neutral site for all the marbles in the Big Ten. Ron, third down, back to you. Do you still think that Wisconsin can get it done today at plus 3.5, or do you want to give yourself a cushion, maybe buy it up to 7.5 or 8? So if they happen to get down a couple of baskets late and miss a couple of free throws, if they lose, you win. Go ahead.
Well, I'm still riding with Wisconsin. I think it's going to be an 81-76 game. I think it's going to be about a 5-point spread myself. Illinois is going to keep it tight, but they're going to start hitting threes, trying to hit threes at the end. That's usually what gets them.
Right. A little bit rough on that. Let's jump back over into some of the totals here today. Again, I was looking at a lot of the games yesterday. It was all over the board. I think it was about 53% over, 47% under. When you go into the totals today, throwing this one around the board, round third down best bets, which team do you like and what do you like from a standpoint of players? I like the Duquesne game to go over. Okay, 127 is a little bit too low for all the marbles. I see these kids at least getting 68 to 70. That would be able to get some cash in your pocket. But from the slate today, guys, going around the board for the totals, what do you see happening? Go ahead. And I'll throw it with you, Ron.
I like the Auburn-Florida game going over myself.
He likes the Florida and the Auburn game going over. Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investors. Guys, thank you so much. We got about a minute left. I had to drop the grease again out there around the world in listening land. Happy St. Patrick's Day. So glad that you guys were listening to us this morning. We appreciate you. Troy West, where are we today? Went the totals. Which is the game they should look for? What side should they try to get? Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm with Ron. I'm going with the over on that Auburn game. I think you're going to see a fast-paced, championship-style basketball game. A lot of scoring. I like the over in that one.
Likes the over in that Auburn game. Again, my main man, Jeff Dawson, East Coast Sports Investor. Thank you so much for stopping on the big board today. What's your best total play today? And then we're going to get out of here with this Dropkick Murphys and get you guys lined up for my main man, Dr. David Schoonover, brand new host and developer here on VSX Digital Sports Network with the Mind Coordinator. But Jeff, got about a minute left, and then we're going to get everybody on their way. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm looking at the 3:30 Eastern time tip-off. I had an opening number of 151.5, now 149. I'm going to go under Wisconsin, Illinois, and I do think also Wisconsin finds a way to be cutting down the nets and will be Big Ten champs as well.
That's right, guys. Well, that's a wrap. JB the Ticket Vegas Scoreboard Express. Happy birthday, Ron. Third down, best bets. You guys know what time it is out there. Happy St. Patrick's Day. Go get the money.
You're listening, boss of the big ball, JB the Ticket. Vegas Scoreboard Express. Giving you that grease.